Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizano, and you are listening to another episode of the world famous, the University Loved, the best podcast in uno, dos, tres galaxies. But, ladies and gentlemen, you and I, we just call this show Online Marketing Moves, and we are coming to you live today. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to discuss why y- people are plain lazy, okay? They don't want to work. This is why we got grifters. This is why grifters get paid. This is why people are getting hooked and crooked and snookered because people are naturally lazy. Ladies and gentlemen, you might be a lazy bastard. Okay, let me tell you something. Please do not be one of these lazy people that fall for everything. Okay, the reason why I bring this up because I saw a clip, some bad advice. I saw some people. This guy called him 500. Him 500 gives terrible advice. Okay, step number one for you and I, ladies and gentlemen, do not listen to people that give terrible financial advice. Okay, listen, you you are not going to become a billionaire. Okay, you're not. Okay, let me give you some bad news. Most of us Most of us will not become billionaires. So let me go ahead and give you the bad news right now. Congratulations. You are not going to be a billionaire. You're not going to be a trillionaire. You're not going to make $800 billion. Okay. But what you can do is you can make a nice amount of money. You can make as much money as you want. Not $1 billion. To make $1 billion, you got to be somewhat of a psychopath, and you gotta step on people, okay, on your way to the top. And many folks do not want to step on anybody. But I'll tell you like this: some bad advice I heard this guy give. He was telling people you can go down to Navy Federal and you can get a car loan. You could turn the car loan into a personal loan, and then basically what what him 500 who lives in Atlanta, Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, Atlanta, Georgia, home of the scammer, okay? Not me. I'm definitely not scamming. I'm I'm the complete opposite. Uh I would feel so bad. I would feel so bad scamming people. I would feel bad scamming people. And you probably would too. So this is why we here. But anyway, some bad advice I heard this guy. He was telling people go down to Navy Federal, get a car loan, and then they something keep the money, and it turns into a personal loan. Well, so of course the guy in Missouri, a pastor in Missouri, did that, making making the church look bad again. I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, boy, oh boy, oh boy. I believe ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you listen to this show on a daily basis, but I pray every day, twice a day. I read the Bible. I believe in Jesus. I believe, me personally, my personal belief is I don't think you push your if somebody wants to turn to God, then that's great. Then, if they say, hey, I would like to, I would say, hey, get the Bible, read the Bible, you pray, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not gonna go out I wouldn't go to a bar full of people drinking and be like, you all are going to hell. You need to sacrifice your life for God. Well, I mean, people are gonna do what they want to do. It a lot of times it's like working out. It's like anything. If you want to start making money, what do? You say, okay, what? You start looking. You start looking inward. You know what I mean? Everything. And if you want to change something, you look inward first. That's the main thing. You don't look out. Oh, my parents, God, they my parents. Oh. You look inward. Okay. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is why this is why this show is a great show, lovable show. This is why we don't generate millions and billions, because practical advice. Common sense ain't common, so unfortunately. But anyway, so he was telling people in the guy in Missouri, a pastor was started doing basically bank fraud. And, of course, he was getting the money. He was buying cars and doing the usual. And so he's up. He's up. He's up in jail. He's gonna be on trial. He's gonna get convicted. The federales got him. He's gonna go to jail. He's gonna go to federal. He might go to a minimum security, but he's gonna go away for a little while because he listened to him 500, and him 500 is he now him 500 is smart. Now I will say this: he tricks you into you giving him money while you go out and do the wire fraud. So that's crazy. That's nasty work. Don't do it. But the reason why people fall for this stuff is because people are plain lazy. Okay, people are lazy as heck. Okay, people are very lazy. Lazy, 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 lazy. People do not want to work. In order to get a podcast, in order to make a podcast, relevant and to make a podcast, to generate money from the podcast, you actually have to do the work. You actually have to do the podcast. You have to record, and a lot of times people go the easy route. Oh man, you got these people now, you got people they pay Charleston White or they pay, and people are going around, they want to get paid for the story. And I see it all the time, and especially, well, me personally, as I'm a black man in America. We, on this show, we don't talk about drugs, we don't talk about guns, we don't talk about hip hop. So I know the audience that I'm looking for is not color based, okay? It's not race based. This show is for anybody who wants to learn about marketing, who wants to market themselves, who wants to, start making money on their own time, who wants to generate their own money tree. This show is for those kind of people. I'm looking for people, not a race, not a place, but people. Okay, doesn't matter if you live in America, live in Great Britain. I was looking one day, 40 45% of the people who listen to this show on Spotify are from Great Britain. So, we got an international audience, okay? Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. But I say all that to say people are plain lazy, and it takes hard work. I've been writing every day. I'll give you an example, and this is just not about me. This is about you. So I don't, because I do not want you to get discouraged. I do not want you to get down in the dumps. I do not want you to feel a certain way whenever you keep producing and you keep producing and you keep producing you might not be seeing the results. There are ways to go about it. There are ways to go around it. You have to get, if you're not gonna be a coon and a buffoon, and if you're not a, you know you you have to work hard at it. You have to figure out the game, okay? Because life's a game, and you gotta figure it out. You gotta take it from there, and you got to work harder than the next person. You're not gonna tell people, "Hey, you can make you can make $1 million." You can make $1 million. You can make $1 million. You probably won't make $1 billion. You can make $1 million, but we all know there's different ways you can you can have your titles a certain way. You can say things. Now you can always say things that you believe, and people are not always going to believe everything you say. I wrote an article once about, why do black people have to be Democrats? Like, there's no there should be no, because I don't know if you know this or not, but in the, since I am a black man living in America, I'm supposed to be a Democrat. You know, I voted for Kamala Harris, but I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a Democrat, because Democrats now, I mean, they're just as they're elitists. You know what I mean? L.A., New York. I live in Georgia, so people are like, oh no, y'all, blah blah blah. I saw a clip of not to get off track, but I saw a clip of Leslie Jones. She was like, man, because people in America, if you don't live in LA, New York, you get bad information. It's like, sister, we get the same news, right? Like, what are we, stupid or something? The rest of the people. But anyway, uh, yeah, back to being just plain lazy. And a lot of times, you hear people, as I told you before, one of my greatest head scratchers was when Master P was talking about Patti LaBelle and how Patti LaBelle did not own the Patty Pie brand, and how they only she got $20 million, and the other people made 200 million. And Master P was really sitting there with a bunch of people who paid to hear him speak, who don't got $1,000 in their pocket. Tell them that all Patty, if she would have owned Patty Pie, she would have got $200 million. Listen, marketing. Listen, I'm tell you like this: marketing a show, doing a show, writing a show, figuring out what topics you're gonna talk about, trying to be all hats in one. It's hard work. I can't imagine Patty LaBelle cooking the pies, calling up Cisco, calling up Walmart. Hey, boo, this is Patty LaBelle. I got these pies in my oven. Y'all buying them? Y'all buying them or not? Packaging. I mean, it's so much work. I had a friend. He started a cookie company. A lot of work. So I can't imagine you not, somebody using your name and they give you $20 million. You and I would be excited about that. Okay, ladies and gents. And so it's asinine stuff like that people say. They're like, oh, and I see I chuckle. I saw the guy, the him 500. He was sitting on the plane. Never, 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 never in flight. Always sitting on the plane. And he was trying to go tailor made for black people. He was eating hot Cheetos while he was sitting there talking. I thought to myself, man, man, man. I don't have it in me to scam like that. But you really have to hone in, and you really have to focus, and you have to do double the work. Listen, if you want to succeed in the podcast, there's rarefied air. Okay, there's 1,000,001 people every day starting a podcast. There's 1,000,001 people. There's 1,000,001 celebrities. There's 1,000,001 people. They got money. They're gonna pay for guests. I ain't paying for no guests. I'll be damned if I ever pay for a guest. That's just me. We gon' we gon' get it how we live around here. We gonna do the old fashioned. We're gonna do the old fashioned roll up the sleeves and do hard work. Now, I can do a much better job at marketing, and we will. I can do a much better job at that. Of course, we will. But what I'm telling you is, I don't want you to get discouraged. I don't want you to get you do 5 shows and you're like, man, that's it. Keep creating the content, and find your niche, find what you want to talk about, and keep drilling the hole. It's like when it comes to content creation, you are basically oil drillers. Okay, you are drilling for oil, because as you well know, it's not, once you start to get paid and once you start to make money, then it will keep going. And then you can say, hey, these people gave me this money. Hey, these people gave me that money. Hey, it's like I just wrote about this on a post I wrote for Medium. It's I'm in search. I'm in search of copywriting clients, and I decided the first thing I wanted to do is before I started finding clients and looking for them and saying, "Hey, I write these blog posts, blah blah blah." I wanted to have blog posts to say, "Hey, here's what I here's my here's a lot of stuff that I wrote. You can see it, and what kind of post do you need?" And now I've I've done it so much, and I do it every day. It doesn't take long. So if somebody needs 500, 1,000 words, 2,500 words, I can knock it out in an hour or two. Do the research, figure out how you want to structure it, because writing is nothing but building a block, building a house. You ever built a house? You ever been inside your house, and when you want to redo something? That's writing. You write to build. You're building a block, you're building a house. Hey, what do you want to be the intro? What do you want to be in the middle? What do you want? How do you want to structure it? What do you want to say? When do you want to say it? And you want to keep making things interesting and interesting and interesting. Now you could throw in your sense of humor. I have a little sense of humor, ladies and gentlemen. I like to throw that into my writing because it tickles me, and it will tickle some. It won't tickle others, and that's okay. But it's just the same. It's just like this podcast. Listen, you're not gonna rope in billion. You're not gonna rope in a billion people. Everybody that's on the planet Earth is not gonna enjoy your podcast. It's just the way it is. Some people probably listen to this podcast and they say, "This guy sucks." Okay. Some people listen to the show and they say, "This guy is great." Everybody can't relate to you. Everybody ain't gonna relate to you. It's just the way it is. I have people in my family. I love them. We don't relate. I have people in my family I talk to on a weekly basis. We relate. We get along. If we was not family, we would be friends. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. Everybody ain't coming with you. It's just the way it is. And it's all right. And the more you have to just think, what kind of content do you want to create? Do you want to talk about relationships? Do you want to talk about cars? Do you want to talk about, you know, do you want to talk about houses? You want to talk about gardening? What do you want to talk about? What do you want to say? How do you want to put it? You can, and you don't have to be politically correct. You don't have to say the right things all the time. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna say things. You have your beliefs, and you can, and it's okay to say your beliefs. You don't have to be Pollyanna for everybody, because everybody ain't coming with you anyway. You can be the nicest person in the world, and people still gonna hate you. My daughter watches Miss Rachel. People still don't like Miss Rachel for whatever reason. It don't matter. They just like, "Oh, Miss Rachel, that's what you doing?" Blah blah blah. There's people that, I'm like, the lady just do stuff for kids. My daughter's 4. I Miss Rachel, I don't like your ponytail. Okay. So everybody ain't gonna like you no way. Everybody ain't gonna like you anyway. I told you I wrote this thing about the Democratic Party. Some girl who, she just hates men, I guess. She was like, "Go ahead and vote for Trump." I'm like, who said I'm voting for Trump? But you got this out of it. That's what you got out of this whole thing I wrote, that I'm gonna vote for Trump. I'm just like, why we all gotta be sheep and vote Democrat? Like, Democrats ain't doing nothing for me. They're not doing nothing for you. I mean, I voted for Kamala over Trump because Trump is old, is dirt, and I didn't want to vote for another old dude. Like, how many old fogies we gonna have in you know, are we voting for the Pope, or we voting for the president? I like my president on the younger side of life, okay? Not old and senile like the last one. That's neither here nor there. But what I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, is everybody ain't gonna go with you no way. Everybody ain't gonna like you. Everybody ain't gonna like your style. It doesn't matter if you're funny, you're serious, you're self-deprecating. It don't matter. People ain't gonna like you. They ain't gonna like you. They ain't gonna like you, and that's okay. So you're not looking for everybody. You're looking for us. You're looking for a group. You're looking for your group. The people are gonna come to you. You're gonna be attracted. They're gonna like you. They're gonna want to buy from you. They're gonna want to hear from you every day. They're gonna hear your thoughts. They're gonna hear your opinions. They want to hear about your life. That's your crew. That's your crew. Find your crew. You gotta find your crew. Everybody has a crew. I have a crew. You have a crew. We all have crews. Let's all find our crews. And you don't have to give shitty advice. Excuse my language, Lord, forgive me. You don't have to give bad advice. You don't have to tell people. You don't have to hook and crook people. Listen, you can sell products. That's fine. That's great. You can sell a course. That's fine. That's great. But don't sell people a bunch of BS all the time. That's my only problem with people. People sell BS products. I mean, come on, man. Going down to the bank to get a loan, and then you going and then you're the main person, like, hey, give me $10,000, I'll show you the game. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I got a few rules in life. One of my rules in life is if you talk about business or life like it's selling drugs, I am 1,000% uninterested in what you got to say after that, because life is not selling drugs. I've never sold drugs. I never smoked weed. So why would I be interested in selling? I don't watch those type of movies anymore. I remember I watched what's that stupid movie with Denzel, American Gangster? It was alright, but I'm like, why am I? That was like one of the last times I said, why am I watching this glorified crap? Okay, we glorifying a guy, and at the end of the day, all people that sell drugs, all people that do crimes, they're nothing but rats and snitches anyway. You and I never rat, never snitch. You know why? Because we have no reason to. Okay, we are upstanding citizens minding our business, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the best way to be, because you are you are trying to do you are trying to do what people want to do. Live a nice life. Not, oh man, I had to sell drugs. Blah, 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 blah. Listen, I'm so sick of hearing about drug dealers and cocaine rings. I try to avoid it, but the algorithm is the algorithm, and the algorithm it just it just assumes. I guess it just assumes. It's you can I can my friend, he'll send me something, and I'm like, boom, there it goes. There goes the algorithm, and then of course they run wild with it because they want you to get stuck on the internet. But that's neither here nor there. And ladies and gentlemen, I will get off my soapbox now, but I'm just here to tell you, ladies and gents, people are lazy. You don't be lazy. I know, you're normal, you're regular. I'm just a regular Joe Blow. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You still can make it. It might take you longer than normal, but with marketing, with persistence, with some inspiration and some motivation, ladies and gentlemen, you too can make it. And as my boy Zig Ziglar would say, and we will see you at the top. Okay? Don't be a lazy person. Don't try to cut corners. Don't scheme your way to the top, because scheming your way to the top, it sounds good, it looks good, but eventually, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to fall on your face. Then you're going to be Bernie Madoff, dying in jail. You want to die in jail? Nope. You want to be you want to have to keep flipping around like Jay Morrison doing Jay Morrison was a real estate guy, now he's a preacher. As I told you, I feel bad as a person who goes to church and reads the Bible. Man, I can't do them but shake my head when people like, man, religion ain't nothing but a scam. I get it. I get it. Every time you see somebody, they hooking and crooking under the false pretenses of God. I get it. I get it. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very excited to talk to you today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you want to do me a favor, ladies and gentlemen, share this episode with a friend, with a friend, and 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 a friend. Ladies and gentlemen, and tell them all about the greatest show in podcast history. Listen, we kick Joe Rogan's ass every day. Okay? Online marketing moves, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tony Rizzano. Oh yeah, I told you this week about we're gonna have a downloadable. We're gonna have a downloadable. We're gonna talk about podcasting and what you can do to improve your chances of becoming a top tier podcaster. Okay, but ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tony Rizzano. We'll probably have that either tomorrow or Saturday. But my name is Tony Rizano. Thank you for listening. You can always sign up for the email list, ladies and gents. Tony Rizano. Thank you for listening. God bless each and every one of you. And as always, everybody, peace.